So let's start off by creating our project. So I'll open the terminal, I'll click on Command plus spacebar, I'll type terminal, and then here I'll cd into my projects folder. So I'll say cd projects, then I'll create my project. So I'll say Flutter, create, and then it's called Notable. Once it's created, I'll cd into Notable, open it in VS Code, and then we can get started. So as usual, the beginning will be the configuration stuff. So here I have the assets directory. So I'll just drag that and drop it into the root directory. And then I'll say copy folder. If you look at assets, it has fonts. So this is the font that we'll use. It has images. So this only has the logo of the app. Next thing we want to do is add dependencies. So we'll go to pubspec.yaml. And then here we can go to the GitHub page, so we can easily just copy the dependencies, so you don't have to type it from scratch. So I'll come here, I'll copy that. So this covers the dependencies, dev dependencies, and the configuration for Flutter icons and Flutter native splash screen. So I'll remove all of this and then paste what I have. Now from the previous projects, we looked at the Flutter icons and Flutter native splash screen configurations. This time we'll focus on dependencies and dev dependencies. So we have Hive and Hive Flutter, which will allow us to work with the Hive database. We also have the build runner and Hive generator packages, which will allow us to generate model adapters. Model adapters will allow us to take a model that's created for Hive and then being able to access it as a normal model in Dart. Next, we have the intl package. This will be used for date formats. Next, we have the keyboard dismisser. So whenever we click on an input, we want to be able to dismiss the form. And then we also have the shared preferences package. So shared preferences also does persistent storage similar to Hive. However, shared preferences, it's not a full-on database. It's just key value paired. So this is for storing simple stuff like volume controls or light or dark mode, for example, so just for normal settings. However, if we want to actually store models and data, we will have to use an actual database like Hive or something like SQFlite. Next, we have the linter package as usual, as well as the Flutter launcher icons and Flutter native splash screen, just like we've seen before in other projects. Other things we want to add is for linting. So here, let's create a new file and then call it analysis_options.yaml. And then inside, we'll just copy this line right here to import basic rules. Next, we want to add the configuration for fonts. So here, I'll copy this. We'll go into pubspec.yaml. And at the bottom here, you see this fonts. I'll just press enter under example and then copy that. Make sure the indentation is correct. And let's save that. Next, we have constants. So under lib, let's create a new folder called utilities. And then under that, I'll create a file called constants.dart. And then we'll copy this and paste that. So these are just the colors that we'll use. So you have this yellow color, red color, light gray, and dark gray. So right now we're done with the configuration, so we'll go to main.dart and actually start writing our code. Let's remove this boilerplate code. Let's remove this as well. And then I'll create a widget called Notable. Comment that. And then here I'll say stateless widget and then say Notable. And let's render a material app. Let's do debug show check node banner to false to remove the debug banner, and then home I'll just make an empty scaffold. Let's also go to the test directory and then change this to Notable. Okay, let me just minimize this. We don't need that anymore. Next, let's configure the theme of our app. So we want the app to have a dark theme. So say theme equals to theme data, dot dark. And then we also want to add certain attributes of this theme. So we'll say dot copy width. And then we can edit the app bar theme. Consts app bar theme, and then we say background colors to be k dark gray, coming from our constants. Center title is equals to false, and then elevation to be 0. Under this as well, let's also say scaffold background color to be k dark gray. Now let's run the application. So let's run it on an iOS simulator, and then we'll say run without debugging,